we have to install. First up, we want to get the fuel system set up. We're going to mount the pump just like how we saw it mounted on our 1970 Monte Carlo that came to us already LS swapped. We didn't really like the way that fuel pump was mounted up front, but we understand why it was mounted that way, and it worked. And so in this spot, we're going to mimic that. It's a great budget solution when you have a whole lot of other things to do up front, and you can always revisit that later on. And so that's where we're at. Let's start getting this fuel system together. And this is our pre-built inline fuel supply system, mocked up and ready to go under the car. This plate will mount to one of the fuel tank straps to one of these two holes. It'll go right between the strap and the bracket that the strap mounts to, and it'll hang down just like this. This is pretty much the exact setup I saw underneath the 1970 Monte Carlo that we did the rear axle on. And I talked smack about it, and I do want to change it. I want to replace the gas tank and get a proper in-tank setup. But the reality is, this setup works. It works. So it saves money and it works. If you got the dollars, then dropping the gas tank and getting a tank from Tanks Inc. is a great way to go. But this is a very functional way of doing things as well. And to get this kit with the ACES EFI, along with the 7-inch screen, just kind of saves a couple of dollars because you're getting it all bundled together. So this is the side profile of the installed fuel pump assembly. Here we can see that the fuel filter is mounted just below the floor of the gas tank. This is actually the inlet. The outlet that's on top of the gas tank loops around and comes down to the inlet of this gas filter that is just below the floor of the tank. This way, once we start a prime, it will hold a prime. And then it comes around and comes up, and then the fuel pump is mounted above the floor of the tank. This way, there's always fuel in the filter for the pump to draw from, even after it shuts off. Okay, and here's a good view of our fuel system from behind. The fuel filter that we used is not the fuel filter that came with the kit. What came with the ACES kit was a 100 micron filter that was a little bit smaller than this Evil Energy one that we're using. The Evil Energy filter is 40 micron fuel filtration, which is on point with what the 450 liter per hour socks are that, don't run a fuel filter. So we're really happy to have the 40 micron filter here and not have to run a secondary filter between the pump and the fuel rail. This is our inlet that comes directly out of the top of the tank. And over here we made a little hard line on the other side to come back up and feed up to the pump. The pump outlet is just an AN fitting right into the regulator, and we set our pressure with the regulator right here. This is not a vacuum line, this is just a vent. So it's just pushed up a little bit so it doesn't accidentally get water in it or anything like that. And this is our actual fuel feed line. We decided not to repurpose the factory hard line, so we ran our own. This is a PTFE 6AN hose, but we have just one AN fitting coming right off of the regulator that is the 6AN female to the PTFE. And then up at the front, we have just one fitting that is the PTFE to the GM Quick Connect female. And this is our connection at the fuel rail. Just one fitting, that's all it's got to be. We still got a little bit of wiring and cleanup stuff to do, but we're getting there.